The nation's youngest members were out in force this morning, as they have been for decades. It was more than a day out for the preschoolers who marched from Memorial to Constitution Park to open Child Stimulation Month, held under the theme, Birth to 8, Children Must Play. They dressed up as animals, as adult job holders, and generally colorfully, befitting their bright outlook on life. Most had adult teachers and parents in tow. Keynote speaker, Education Minister Patrick Faber, says that children ought to be children, though not at the cost of their studies.
Children are very malleable and they can learn a whole lot in this very early stage. So we should not interpret that as, oh, we won't try to push our children and get them to learn, because they are at a stage where, as we say, they're like sponges and they can take in much more than we can as adults. So while we encourage play as an important part of development, we also encourage a lot of hard work at this very early stage. We set aside the month of March to highlight that this should be happening, but really the ideal thing is for stimulating children to be happening all year long. And by that we mean engaging. In my presentation this morning, I took off my serious role and I made sillies. I sang and I danced for the children, and that's what ought to be happening in our preschools, in our infant schools, and even in the homes.
Quality time is especially important, says early childhood education official Nadira Ross, in the time between birth and 3 years of age, when socialization in the form of kindergarten and preschool begins. It's not especially rocket science, as one key component is as simple and fundamental as reading.
When we get them in education, we get them at the age of 3 to 5 years old. But that window of period from birth to 3, which we refer to as the first 1,000 days of a child's life, is very crucial and important. And that sets the foundation for us to welcome them in education. But all of what we do, transitioning from that birth to 3 into the 3 to 5 happens through play, happens through stimulation. So the theme birth to 8 children must play is very, very important for us to keep in the back of our minds and know that everything will happen through play, but meaningful and structured play. Read to your child every day. Read. Reading is very important. Through reading, there are a lot of facets that we can fill. When we are reading, parents, when you're reading with your child, you might be portraying some character, and in portraying, you're using another sense of you. So we push the importance of early stimulation, getting your child ready for school, and in all of that, you will be your child will be meeting milestones. Your child will be doing what he or she should be able to do.
And from the looks of the kids in costumes in the early March heat, Belize's next generation is well on its way. Aaron Humes reporting for News 5.